Alright. Question from Zach Tham. Toby, always a huge fan. What are your thoughts on box squats? It's proven they can help a raw lifter when performed properly at lower heights. In fact, they always blow my ego. Ha ha ha. I got a big ego. That's wherever we go. You know that reference? Kanye, Beyonce, ego. When Kanye was somewhat. Anyway, even Blaha uses them now. The Lord Blowho. +5 Hatha weaponsmithing. The mercenary, eh? 500-pound reverse stand bench. Anyway, do you find a box squat a useful tool? Alright, so this video is all about box squats. So, DJ, spin that shit. Alright, give me a beat, son. Alright, so it's like this. Box squats. They're good for learning how to squat. In fact, box squats are used if anything, if you have knee issues, you could do a higher box squat or a parallel box squat or a little above parallel or high box squat. It saves if you have knee problems from regular squatting, or if you want to overload with weight, you could box squat. Overload with weight, box squat, or if you have knee issues, box squat to no lower than a parallel box. Or if you want to build explosion for regular squats, you could do box squats but for speed, West Side style. Or low box squats if you want to learn how to hit depth. Anyway, so yeah, learn how to hit depth, box squat. Save the knees, box squat, overload, box squat. And it really hits the posterior chain. You want to build speed, maybe with accommodating resistance, whether it's bands, chains, or reverse band like West Side does. And if you have a knee problem and still want to squat and build technique, box squat. But realize if you're building technique squatting, with the box, you also want to stretch. Stretch the hips, stretch the groin, stretch the hamstrings. And stretch the lower back and do posterior chain exercises and train the core. And what else can I say? And most big box squatters have strong raw squats anyway because it helps. It trains the posterior chain, and they're overloading with heavy weight, so they can eventually catch up with lighter weight. It helps with equipped squatting, or even with raw squatting, and for athleticism, right? Some sports like football or other contact sports, maybe MMA, maybe baseball, maybe basketball, whatever. But I just know how to train for football and maybe lacrosse and other combat sports because those are the only ones I see lift, especially football. They use box squats and it helps build speed and explosion for running in the drills. And any sport with speed, box squats help. You learn how to squat with box squats and it saves the knees. You build technique, you build depth, you learn how to go deep. Because sometimes if you go ass to grass without a low box squat, you could topple over because you haven't built the mobility to go that deep. At least with a low box, you can always stop because there's a box blocking it. But a low box, believe it or not, squatting with a low box most of the time is harder than squatting without a box at all. Because the low box is an awkward movement. You're just building depth and stretching the groin and hip region so you could go deep. So it's basically a weighted stretch. And it helps. So I would say for learning how to squat, building the flexibility, mobility, and form, and overload purposes and athletic purposes for speed, even leg development, And squatting around knee injuries? Yes, box squat, my dog. Ooh.